I'm super lucky today to have in my studio via Zoom the one, the only Jackie Schomburg. And Jackie gave me a call about a month ago and suggested that we, stay in touch. We've been working on a bunch of things together, like the Mastering Mixed Media Expo and so on. And so she thought it would be really fun if we had a chat. And so we have a chat and we chatted and chatted and chatted, didn't we?
Yeah.
What we thought might be like maybe a half an hour call turned into a couple hours because we're those girls. But anyway, so we decided we wanted to do something really fun and collaborate on a video. And so that's what you're getting today, and you're getting it tomorrow. So today is part one of what we're calling the Mixed Media Art Party with Jackie and Jackie. Woo! Right? Hand clappers for everyone. And and so today we're hosting it on my channel right here. If you're here live, this is very special because even though the video itself is pre-recorded, we are sitting in the chat right now, ready and waiting to answer all your questions, to add to whatever the discussion is on the camera and so on. So if you are going to chat with us, if you want to ask a specific one of the Jackies a question, make sure you put the first initial of the last name. So if you have a question for Jackie Schomburg, you should write Jackie S, and then wherever your question or comment is. And then if you want to leave a specific question or comment for me, Jackie B. All right. And if you want to do it for both of us, like you want to know what both of us think on something, then just put Jackie's, like plural, lowercase s, so we don't get confused. I just thought about that. That would be a little confusing. But if you're watching the replay of this, so if you're not here live, please leave your questions and comments anyway, because we will respond to them. It's one of the things that we both do with our audiences. So go ahead and just, if you're watching this 2 years from now, leave a question or comment. We will respond to it. All right. So Jackie, how are you feeling today?
I'm so ready for an art party. I'm ready to paint. I have not used my jelly plates for quite a long time, and I have an old one that's crusty and a brand new sparkling one that I'm going to break in today. So I'm really excited to get a lot of collage papers built up again. Mine have all turned into little scraps. So it's time to refresh the supply. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. I am. So, everyone, just so you know, we're going to be chatting with each other throughout this whole video. It may be on topic, it may be totally off topic. Who knows? It's just two artists working in the studio at the same time. Really, well, actually, hundreds of artists working in the same studio at the same time, right? We're we're just we're just going to go wherever this goes. So today is primarily about painting papers, and tomorrow will be primarily about doing something with the papers that we painted today. And if Jackie's like me, other papers may work their way into our whatever we're working tomorrow. But really, what this is the spirit of creativity when working with somebody else, and it's very dynamic. And so I'm just going to be painting papers. I'm going to use my gel plate a little bit, but today, actually, well, who knows how it'll turn out. But it's likely I'll be using it more as a palette than as the gel plate. But who knows? You guys know me. I just roll with whatever direction it takes me. I think Jackie is somewhat similar, right?
Yeah, we're going to keep it super casual. You can see it's kind of a behind the scenes look. I've got studio lights in here because of where I need to put my computer so that we could get both shots. So we're just making it work, and it should be really fun. So I'm really glad we're here. Grab your papers, grab your paints if you want to work with us, and let's get this party started.
Let's do it. So, you all missed like the first, I don't know, 35 minutes of us trying to set this up. And we had, I don't know, what I guess I'd call some significant technology issues, right? And
Things
it's
take longer than it seems like it should, but it's all good.
it's all good, no doubt about it. But hilariously or not hilariously, we'll see. we had some priceless Jackie and Jackie moments that I was like, oh, we've got to have these as outtakes at the end of the video. I'm not sure if we were able to save those during the testing. So I hope we did because I think you all would love to see that. So Jackie, you're outside of Chicago?
I am. I'm in the northern Chicago suburbs, right along Lake Michigan.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my house is not right along Lake Michigan. The town I live in is right along Lake Michigan.
Do you do you get fog? A lot of fog?
You know what? That's such a wonderfully Californian thing to ask. We do not get any fog. There's no lake layer of like a marine layer kind of situation. Uh, but it is a little bit colder and crisper here. Typically, it's a little bit more moderate. So in the winter, it's a bit warmer by the lake, and in the summer, it's a little bit cooler by the lake. But it still gets real hot and humid. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, it is a California question to ask. You
I
know,
love
I
it.
almost never get fog.
Oh, really? That's nice.
Very, very, very rare for Southern California to get fog. It only happens a couple times a year. The reason I asked was as we were setting up this morning,
Well,
I took Archie for a walk well before we set up. And it was a gorgeous morning, beautiful sunshine, pretty warm for now. Perfect. And as we were setting up, the fog started rolling in. And the way it rolls in, at least in my neighborhood, is oh my God, look at that color. The way it rolls in my neighborhood is it rolls in like heavy wisps, and those heavy wisps actually look like it looks like smoke. It looks like somebody's house is on fire. Every time it happens, I go running out, queen of the neighborhood here, running out to make sure nobody's house is burning down.
that is funny. That is really funny. So you're in like Southern California. You said Orange County, right?
Yes, Orange County. Yep. I live just outside of Newport Beach. And I truly love where I live. I grew up in upstate New York near the Tug Hill Plateau, Syracuse, New York. And good Lord, talk about weather. Why I live in Southern California now.
It is nice to have a change of pace, I'm sure. My husband's from Southern California,
Oh,
and when I hear people talk about living in places that don't get super cold, I always picture them like, what do you do on Christmas morning? Do you just open presents on the beach or whatever? And like, he thought that was adorable. He's like, no, why would we do that? I'm like, because you have access to the ocean. Why wouldn't you do that? So just things like that, I feel like are little. Uh, I mean, right? It just shows my ignorance. I'm like, I don't know what to do when the seasons don't change.
yes. Well, neither do we. Actually, I'll tell you what we do. We get super excited when we have something that we consider to be weather, like fog. It's foggy out.
Good.
Ah, so what colors are you working with?
Well, I am working with just a mishmash of things. This is my favorite color right now is this fluorescent red.
Mm,
Ah, and it kind of breaks the camera because the camera can't quite capture it in all its glory. And then this is a quinacridone magenta. And, I really don't have a plan for a color scheme here, so I'm just gonna wing it and see what happens. Um, because that's just kind of what I do.
yeah,
And I made the fall stencil 5 minutes ago.
love it.
I'm gonna use this and make my little sunset orbs here.
I love orbs.
What do you do when you're working on your jelly plate to hold all of the things you make? Because I always make more than I can fit on my desk. And so I just put a tarp on the ground and I just put things all around the floor.
Yeah,
To
very similar. I do have some these hangers, pant hangers here.
okay.
If I'm working with large pieces, I'll put them on here and hang up to dry. But honestly, when I'm pulling from the plate, it's usually not so wet, and dries very, very quickly, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So a lot of times I just stack them on top of each other and they don't even stick. They just, dry off late.
I've never done any kind of training in gel plates. I've just kind of made it up as I went along. So I typically take them off right away. And I think that's because I like to do tissue on here. And if I leave the tissue on too long, I feel like it's going to tear. But when I take my things off, they're always pretty wet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Problematic for you? But you're using the open paints, right?
I often use the open paints. Right now, I'm using this satin glazing liquid because I'm using my non-open plates. And so it just keeps the paint a little bit, I was going to say warmer. Does not keep my paints warm, but it keeps them a little bit more open. Let's see here.
Yeah, I haven't been using the open paints. I have the open mediums that I will mix in with uh my heavy bodied acrylics sometimes. I don't even do that very often. Where is it? Here it is, open acrylic medium. And this open acrylic medium will turn any heavy bodied into a longer lasting open style paint. But when I see stacks of open paints in tubes like you have on your table there, I immediately get paint envy.
That's funny. They're really the only paints well, I shouldn't say that. I have a lot of Nova Color paints, which I put in my squeeze bottles because it's just easier for me. And then, so I have all my Nova paint squeeze bottles out, and then I have my open paints are kind of the only tube paints that I keep out right now.
I love Nova paints. Ugh, love
Yeah.
love them.
Yeah, for anyone listening who's in the US, they're really nice, they're nicely pigmented, and they're much more affordable because you don't have to go through a third party. They just sell direct to artists. Um, Outside the US though, I think they might ship. I don't know. I don't know where they ship, but it's probably cost prohibitive shipping.
Yeah, they ship to, I mean, most countries as far as I know. But the problem is shipping is so expensive that the value that we see by not having a middleman, I don't think they get to see, which is really too bad. But the great news is I'm sure that there are plenty of smaller independent paint companies everywhere in the world that you could probably access and get paints that you love. It may take a little research. Took me a while to find Nova, but once I did, I was like, oh, and they're very close to me. So I don't know, Jackie, maybe one of these days you and your husband and the kids can come out for a visit and we can go and go over to Nova Paints and dazzle them with our questions and curiosities.
That would be so much fun. So much fun.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't even think about that because I just, this is probably a very American thing to do. But I was just like, well, it's not in Chicago, so I just forget where things are. If they're not somewhere I can get to, I forget that they're in California, but they certainly are.
well, what I would love to see, and I don't know if any of you would be interested in seeing this, but I would love to see how they actually manufacture the paints. I mean, literally from start to finish. That interests me. I don't know why, but it does.
I can see that. I used to watch, was it Golden that does like the videos of of them like rolling the paint through those rollers and things? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
I love watching that. Those are mesmerizing for me.
Have you ever watched any of those rug cleaning videos on YouTube?
Oh, satisfying. Oh my gosh.
It's fun.
Yeah, those are the best. That and cake decorating. I also like the cake decorating ones.
Okay, that is not something I've gotten into. Now I'm gonna have to check out. Hey, you'll have to send me links because
Great. And now that we've said it, our phones are probably already changing our algorithms to go back to the cake decorating.
so now it's gonna be there's gonna be no more art videos that show up, just carpet cleaning and cake decorating.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I also feel the same thing about the pressure washing videos. Just, people hosing off their uh-huh. I don't know. Wow, it doesn't take much to get me super excited, I guess.
Have you ever done any pressure washing?
I don't think I have actually. I've had it done at the house, but I haven't been the pressure washer. Is it as exciting to do? Have you done it?
I have done it one time during COVID, when there was not a whole lot going on anywhere. Um, our front steps we have an old house. It's from like the 1920s, I think. And while I don't know, we were trying to make things happen and the kids were always outside doing something. And we have this like old flagstone walkway up to our stairs, and our stairs are flagstone too. And it just looked so dingy and dirty because the kids would play with water and then the mud would go over and then it it just looked awful. And I was like, I bet I could get this looking more attractive. And it turned out that a friend of mine had a pressure washer. She's like, "Oh my gosh, come borrow this." So I went and borrowed a pressure washer, and it was a blast. Wow, that was terrible. That was a terrible pun. I didn't even give myself credit for it. So yes, I made myself groan, but it was really fun. It just as satisfying it is in the videos, it was that satisfying. So satisfying, in fact, that I told my husband, I was like, "Hey, we're taking everything out of the garage because I'm gonna power wash the inside garage walls." And he's like, "What?" It's like, "Trust me, it's fine." So I did it. Very satisfying. When else are you gonna clean a garage, right?
Yeah.
Probably never. So that was my COVID gift to my garage, I guess.
Oh my gosh, and your garage has been thankful ever since. Yeah, I think about it sometimes at Home Depot or Lowe's or someplace like that, and I see them and like, oh, I really should get one, but I'm afraid this is going to happen. Actually, I'm about to do a Jackie Schomburg technique. Look at me, pull out the baby wipes. I'm doing a little bit differently than you did in your video, but you were the first one I saw do this, so I'm going to do it. But I end up not getting it because what I'm afraid of is that it's a momentary passion or mine, and that I'm going to go buy a pressure washer and then use it once and then be like, What?"
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, don't buy it because
Yeah.
it'll lose its charm after a minute. But the initial thing of making it go from dirty sidewalk to clean sidewalk, and right, just kind of like when I make art, right? Part of the joy of making art is standing back and saying, "Wow, I just made this thing. It didn't exist, and now it exists." Even if I don't know how it looks, it still didn't exist before I had it. So, and I am making quite a mess. I'm regretting my green gold decision here, but I'm feeling like I want to start painting on the paper directly, so I may.
I loved that color green you were working with. What was that?
The one that was just on
Yeah.
looks green gold,
Mm.
kind of like an acidy, acidic green.
It shouldn't surprise you, but I'm holding up a tube of green gold right now also.
Okay. I need to make you bigger because I can't see what you're working on, Jackie.
I have because it's really hard to see right now. It's
Stop.
just like
Fun.
yeah. So and there's barely any paint on it right this second. That's why you can't. And I'm worried that
Sure,
you're
the problem? The problem is that I thought that was mine. Because you have a black shirt on, I have a black shirt on. I thought that it was that was really silly. I thought that was my camera. I was like, "Oh no, we forgot to do that. We forgot to set you up."
so for everybody watching. One of the things that Jackie and I learned this morning about each other that we did not know from our first conversation was that we both have an apron problem.
Very true.
We do love our aprons, and we have multiples of said aprons. And remarkably, we don't have a single apron that is the same. They're all the same company. They're all the same aprons, so to speak, but not the same patterns or colors. So I love that.
That is very
Company
true.
loves it too.
Yes. However, I may switch and get one that Jackie already has. And I didn't keep it because in that case, I did see you wearing it at once. And I was like, well, I can't be a Jackie on the internet and have the same apron as the other Jackie on the internet. But we'll have to see. Maybe we'll be twins.
I fully give you permission to do it.
We're one color.
I think everybody would love that. And then, we could have the Jackie and Jackie apron show.
Right.
We could have a whole podcast about our aprons.
We might only have one listener, but that's okay.
So, everyone, we are keeping everything in. We're not editing out any of this. So when you hear random conversations like this and you want to run away, please don't run away.
Don't run away, but feel free to mute us for a little while until you want us to be talking again.
That's correct. Exactly.
Let's see how this works. I haven't done Q-tips for a long time on my jelly plate, and I went full Q-tip just now. So I'm going to see how this works. I just used it to give myself some negative space. Oh, so here you go. People who do clean their jelly plates all the time, this is what you're missing. And you might be happy that you're missing it, but I have some of that green gold came off, which is
Beautiful. Oh, beautiful. Love it.
and I always end up now, if you keep your paper on, you probably get a fairly clean jelly plate after every pull. Is that fair to say, Jackie?
No. It depends. It depends on how I'm working. And also, actually, it depends on what tools I'm using when I'm working. I find, oh, this came out kind of cool. I wasn't expecting this to be like this, but I kind of like it. Oh, it's hard to see. You know what?
Oh, there you go. Oh, I do like that.
Let me put some white behind it so you can see. Very cool. Hold it up like this.
Yes. It's almost given like 60s vibes or something. It's just a
Little hippy dippy a little bit. It depends on the tools I use and how thick I put the paint on and so on. But a lot of times I do have residual, and I always look at the residual as like Christmas morning. Right, you've got this gift that you're about to open by pulling back the paper, and you have absolutely no idea what's in there.
yes.
Maybe the size of it, and it gets, I don't know. For me, it gets super exciting. So
It's very satisfying. I'm a firm believer that like in the Beautiful Oops. You ever read that kid's book, Beautiful Oops?
no, who
Oh
wrote
my,
that?
you'd love it. It's this really cute book and it talks about like oh here's setting out to make something and then you like lift a flap or pull something aside and it shows you what like someone's coffee stain like the ring around the coffee cup someone that turns into like someone makes it into a frog and they just make all these different things from all the little mistakes quote unquote until at the end it's kind of this lesson of like don't freak out about the mistakes, first of all, but then also just be creative and enjoy the process.
Yes.
I bought it for my kids and I was like, you guys, look at this book. And they were very young, so they didn't fully appreciate it, but they all liked the book. All right.
So, I'm sure I'm going to get some questions about what's happening here. If they can see it, I don't know. Maybe not. Um, but I'm getting, yeah, it's too hard to see, I think. If anybody has any questions on what I'm doing here, please just ask in the comments. But earlier this week, um, I did a class inside of my community. And what it was, Jackie, was the techniques that I used to use when I did custom finishing on cabinetry and furniture, which is really sort of the genesis of everything I do now. That's why I'm like always experimenting with things because that's just my mindset. And so the class was on antiquing and aging your artwork and different techniques to do that. And so this was one of them where it's a reductive technique using alcohol with the acrylic paints. And the patterning that it creates is almost like watermarking. Like this will be really hard to see here. Huh? Let me put a piece of white paper behind it. But I'm using the wet strength tissue paper, right? And I did that water marking technique on the gel plate itself, but I did that on the gel plate because I wanted to have this speckles, this water marking on the wet strength tissue paper so I could use it as a transparent layer inside of a collage. Yeah. Uh like this is what I love about the gel plate specifically is there's no end to the crazy stuff you can do with it.
Absolutely. And even without the alcohol, somehow I end up with sheets like that. I think just because of my dirty shell plate. Even
Yes.
when I'm not even trying to do it.
See, magic all the way around magic.
And I know that there are people who very meticulously plan each layer that they put on their gel plate, or at least that's what it appears. I shouldn't say that it was meticulous, but it seems like people have a good plan for it. I am not one of those people. I would love to have a plan of like, 4 layers deep, but I just
Ooh, that's gorgeous.
fun, right? It's hard to look at honestly because the red is so bright. But that would be fun.
I'm in a bit of a red phase right now too with this spiral red that I got from Blick. By the way, what do you
Red is my favorite.
do you like the Blick acrylics?
I do. Get my Pyro. I have golden Pyro and I have it from Nova. So
Mhm.
I have those ends, but I have a little Celadon here from Black Acrylics.
Well, I have to say, I am really super impressed with the quality of their fluid acrylics. Really. I don't know why I thought I wouldn't be. Uh, yeah.
Well, it feels risky sometimes trying something new,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to we tend to be creatures of habit, right? And we kind of use
Yeah.
the same things that we like and do the same techniques that we do, and it's nice to shape things up every once in a while.
Indeed.
That's the other form about the jelly plate. It's so easy to try things.
Mhm.
And honestly, there have been times when I get some gel print that I like so much that I just want to like keep it and frame it. Like, oh, and I 100% just put things aside. Like, I'll frame this someday.
I have a lot of those.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I've had to teach, like, for example, there's this one I did from a video. Where is it? There it is. I did this one from a video a couple weeks ago. This was an entire sheet of wet strength tissue paper.
Oh, wow.
This was from the gigantic gel plate, the 18 by 24.
Yeah.
Gigantic. Anyway, this isn't the one. Where is it? I had too many pictures, Jackie.
Don't know.
Oh, here it is. There it is. All right. So when it came off, it looks like one of those rugs, right? That I was talking about that you want to clean with the pressure washer and all that. It's so beautiful. I do not want to use it for anything. And which tells me that the first thing I need to do with it when I get a chance is rip it up. I shall be precious about it. I mean, sure, if I were going to be selling these,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I would keep some of them as whole, but I just can't allow myself to be precious because otherwise I would become legitimately a paper hoarder.
Well, guilty as charged. I already am one of those. Although I did get rid of a whole bunch of stuff, and I got rid of actually a lot of the things I use for my plates because I hadn't done a whole lot of jelly plating for a while, and now I have some regrets from today. I was like, "Oh, shoot, I got rid of that whole giant tub." But you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's all right.
You know, it's funny. I find, I don't know if you find the same thing, but like when I'm working with collage, I may pick specific papers to start with, but usually in the process, because it's so intuitive, usually in the process, there's a point where I'm like, oh, I remember that little bit of something, something that I made, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I go and dig it out. And um, one of the things that I'm always stunned and amazed by is that the randomness with which you can pull together a collage based on paper were never meant to go together for any reason.
Mhm.
Yet somehow they do. Love that.
Yeah, that is collage is magic to me. One of the things have you done the 100-day project before?
Done it and failed twice.
Oh, yeah, me too. Me too. I've done it and failed many times. This last year in 2024, I actually finished it, but it took me a year to finish it.
Good.
But I did it. I was like, I'm going to have 100 of these. I will. But my project that I assigned myself was 100 days of simple collage. And that, me, I defined that as like 3 to 4 pieces of paper. That's it. And I had it on little 4 by 6 inch watercolor paper rectangles.
Oh, that is so smart.
It was very fun. And the thing I liked most about it was how little, right? It was a reminder of how little I actually need of anyone's scrap to be part of the 4 by 6 thing. So I can use all my little scraps and what an impactful composition you can have, even with 3 pieces of paper. So I used a mix of magazine papers. I used a mix of hand painted papers and jelly printed papers, but it was the most fun project I've done. It was another reminder of to do the 100-day project. Think of the easiest thing you can think of and then cut that in half and then do it. So it actually is, um, doable because life happens and
Yes.
things get.
So do you have that project like up on Instagram or on your website or something? Because I want to see it.
I I have some of it on Instagram. Most of it is just on my YouTube channel. So I have a playlist. I started doing them in batches, which is how I got the data done in the first place. So there's like a playlist for 100 days of simple collage.
Okay, we'll be sure to put that playlist in the description of this video so that, you know, people watching, you can come back and get that playlist. So you don't have to leave now on this any of this charming banter that we have going.
Yeah, any excuse to make art and any excuse, like my whole thing is I want to lower the bar, like lower the barriers to entry. Because if I decided to assign myself every day you have to make a masterpiece, right? You have to make some abstract storyboard. I would just be like, yeah, I'm never going to go in there, never going to do that. I will sit this one out and pretend like everything's great. So if I make it as easy as possible and not psych myself out, I find that that is very helpful.
That is such great advice.
'Cause I just feel more pressure if I give myself too many things to think about. Do you ever get that, like, freeze of like, "Oh no, what have I done?"
Yeah, so it's funny. Yes, I do. Um we are oddly at the same stage in life, even though we're decades apart. But um, you have small children, small-ish children at home. And so you're very much in a caregiving phase as well as a business stage as well as an artist stage. Oh my God. Sorry, but this is Jackie sexy. This is what I call sexy. I don't know if you can see it well or not, but
Right.
so you're definitely in a caregiving stage with littles. I am
Mhm.
in a caregiving stage with elders. So I've got my mom, who's 92 with dementia, and my clock Archie
Uh-huh.
is like seriously like 127 years old or something in dog years. And he also has dementia.
Oh, wow.
Um, and so I too am in a caregiving stage. And I have to tell you, if it were not for having a legitimate reason to be in the studio, aside from just it making me feel good, I'm kind of not in a stage of worrying about making myself feel good. So the very fact that we have these channels, well, having the channel actually forces us to give ourselves the release that we need through art. I mean, I'm speaking for both of us, but like I feel it from you.
Yep. 100%. If I so I committed to have a YouTube video up every week 3 years ago. I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna see what happens. And I will do just about anything I need to put that video up. And it's such a positive feedback loop. It's like the positive peer pressure of people who are, even if no one's like chomping at the bit to watch my video, that's fine. But I am wanting to deliver what I've promised.
Yes.
I will do that. It's like that external deadline of wanting to do it. And then I get to make art. And then I'm like, oh, of course I'd like to be here. Of course I'd like to make art. Why did I drag my feet earlier this week? That was silly.
So this might be a chicken and the egg question, but then so your intuitive nature of approaching how you create is not a function of um that was a planned function that you were just going to do intuitive creativity as the focus of your channel? Or did it become a function of I've committed to putting a video out every week. I can't be precious about what I put out.
I think learning to not be precious is something that I've learned just in life. And the only way that I know how to do that is just to keep making things because the more things I make, the less precious I become because I know that there'll be more things coming. So um, I came upon intuitive art making in a class in Evanston, Illinois called Open Studio Project. And that really taught me about process art versus product art, process art being focused on the process itself. And so also has kind of a weird 60s vibe. I feel like there's like that avocado and like the yellow ochre. Um,
Sorry to interrupt you, but I have to say that.
see, this is why I get too excited and then I rip the paper when it stays on there for a long time. But anyway, so I didn't really understand that there was just a type of art that you just play and it doesn't matter what it looks like. It's just for the purpose of self-care. And it's just for the sake of art for art's sake, just to do it. And when I discovered that class, um, I was working downtown in a very corporate job, and my job was to be perfect. I used to grant stock to executives in my company, and they don't like mistakes. So my job was to be perfect. I am still a human being, so I actually can't be perfect. So it was this constant battle that I had internally, externally, all over the place. And taking that class really taught me and reminded me that imperfection is actually better, right? Robots and machines can make perfect art. They can replicate things exactly. They can do the things that I thought I wanted to do. And um, just playing with materials was so fun and so empowering that I kind of never went back. And after I had kids, when I could make art again and had any time to do it, I had no patience for making anything precise. I had no patience for really just anything other than just playing. So I, it's kind of been the bee in my bonnet is to remind other people so they don't have to take as long to learn it as I did, or they don't have to go there, they don't have to, they don't have to miss out because they think they're not, quote, creative or they're not artists or anything like that. Um, because I think we're all artists and we all need to create in some way or another. So it doesn't even have to be hard. You can just take crayons and scribble. And I have workshops where we just do that and then we journal about it. And they're kind of life-changing things, like a whole mindset shift once you realize you don't have to be able to paint the Mona Lisa to create art.
Yeah.
Right? There's that whole there's a Picasso quote where he says, um, every child is an artist. The trouble is trying to be one when you grow up, something like that. And I think that kindergartners have no fear about creativity. And we lose it somehow and we make it, oh gosh, I'm reading this great book right now. It's called We Need Your Art. And it's by Amy McNee.
And
It's
what's the name again?
called We Need Your Art. And she talks about from all angles, like self-care and just making the world a better place and all the reasons that art is actually very valuable and very important. But she talks about how we have infantilized art in the sense that people, the critics, right, might say, oh, that's real cute. When are you going to grow up and actually do something with your life? Right? That's cute that you like to paint and diddle daddle, but when are you going to do something real? Or do you write your little stories? That's lovely. And she talks about how that is terrible for our society because we lose all the artists. Let me see that one again, Jackie. I missed the one you just.
See that one?
Yeah.
That it came up kind of wild.
Oh, I like it.
Those shapes were just created by the medical exam paper, not touching. Like I laid it down, and it it attached itself to whatever part of the plate it wanted to, and the shapes were just gorgeous.
I've never done the medical exam paper, and I want to try that because
Okay, well, you should. I'm so glad you brought that up.
uh,
I will tell you, it has become so indispensable for me. It is my almost everything paper.
yeah.
And it is acid free. I've tested it. It's acid free. It can go to any level of transparency that you want, from completely transparent to, opaquish transparent or translucent, I should say. And the other thing is, so the very specific one that I use is not available globally. And for the past year, since I started using it, was talking about it all the time. That's the number one question I get whenever I talk about it. Where can I get it in the UK? Where can I get it in Sweden? Where can I so last week I put together a global list of sources that I could find that I think, um, at least by their descriptions and their appearance, look like what I use. And so I created that list. Now, I will tell you all, you can grab it if you sign up for my if you are already in my free resource community, sign up and grab it. I mean, it's already in there for you. If you're not part of my free resource community, it's free. Why not? And you'll get the list of all the ones I could find so far. This is going to be a living list. And so as people find medical exam papers in their own countries, I want you to write to me and tell me where you found it. Send me a link to it so I can see it. And then I will put it on the list for all the artists in the world to be able to use this type of paper. Because the truth is it's dirt cheap when you use it the way that you would use it, like cutting it up into smaller pieces or into tiny pieces or whatever.
So
I love stuff.
I need to get that resource as well, even though I guess I am in the US. But tell me, like, what makes it special? Like, what makes it different than tissue or other paper?
So with regular tissue, like tissue that you would get with a gift, or maybe your clothing is wrapped in like regular tissue, you can get it wet, but it's going to fall apart if you pick it up. So when you're making art with tissue like that, a better practice is if you're making papers like we are today, um, you would let it dry on a piece of plastic. You wouldn't move it at all. You'd make the paper while it's wet, leave it to dry on a piece of plastic, and then peel it off later. But you're still going to have the same problem when you re-wet it to put it down in collage or whatever. I'm not knocking regular tissue paper. I'm saying, this is one of the differences. Wet streak tissue paper. I am not kidding. Wet streak tissue paper. That's what I said. But what I meant was not. Yeah. As I picked up a piece of wet streak tissue paper, medical exam paper, uh, you can get soaking wet, and I haven't tested this. What I'm saying right now is probably hyperbole, but I will test it. I think you could leave it in a bathtub overnight and still paint it, be able to pick it up, and it won't tear, it won't fall apart, it won't anything. So you can do super wet techniques that you can't do on other papers, right? Uh, then there's, of course, the translucency and the transparency. It just can't be beat for that, honestly.
So can you do more things then with that than you can with wet strength tissue paper? Because I have not worked with either. Oh my gosh, some wonderful woman sent me wet strength tissue paper so I could try it. And I have never circled back and made a video about it. So that's my next thing is I'm going to test these different papers to figure out which one I like the best.
Fantastic. Do that because it's going to be so eye opening for you. It really, really is. Wet strength tissue paper is stronger than, it's actually stronger than medical exam paper. It's a stiffer, sturdier paper, if you will. Um, it just doesn't go as transparent as medical exam paper, and it's quite expensive.
Yeah. I've kept
Medical exam paper, like seriously, if you cut it up, I did a video a month or so ago, and in that video I included some medical exam paper math, or just paper math. And the box that I got had 12 rolls of medical exam paper. I know some of you right now are saying, "Oh my God, so many rolls." I will never have to purchase medical exam paper again in my life. And according to the math, if I cut it all down to 6 by 6 inch squares, this 93,000 6 inch squares, I'm not going to use that in my lifetime. Not going to happen.
I mean, it's good to have goals, Jackie. How about a stretch goal? Come on.
I am such an underachiever. Uh, but yeah, so that's why I just love it because you can use it. I use it sometimes as, I keep saying that, I keep grabbing, here it is. Um, I'll use it to mop up spills sometime and then use that mop up as, a painted paper in a collage.
Now, that is one of the hardest parts about being a collage artist and mixed media artist is that like, right, my roller, what's it called? Your off blurring.
Yeah, roll on paper.
Yeah, I keep that for, whatever else I need. I keep all the things.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, this might be kind of cool. Anything could be kind of cool because I never know how I'm going to use it.
That's exactly.
A little tricky.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to use this is my favorite tool that I have, and it is ridiculous looking. So here, there's a paintbrush over here, and it's a paintbrush that is so frayed and so awful because I left it in a bucket of water forever. My daughter taped this on. I don't know why this is here, but I hold the branch. It's like a pen. It's just a pen.
Okay.
But I have this branch I got at the beach, and I dip it in paint, and then I just let it go. And because it's so irregular, I can't really plan. So it makes really cool marks. Let me move this over here. Because now I think I'm just gonna play a bit. So if I just take this and get some paint on here, and then just do this, and it almost looks like, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of like those really cool, like Japanese brush,
Yes.
um, those brush paintings.
Are you all recognizing this as signature Jackie Schomburg mark making? Seriously.
Well, that's my magic brush.
Well, now we know. The mystery has been unveiled.
Yes, you too can make your own magic brush. Just mistreat your brushes horribly and then tape it to a stick. It's a very elaborate thing here.
I
But
love. Um,
I love that you can't plan what it does.
do you ever use other organic materials to mark make or?
I have attempted that. I have a whole bunch, I have a bag full of like sticks and driftwood and other things. But I've found that at least for the most part, because so much of it is three-dimensional, if I try to stamp it or use it, it doesn't just doesn't work the way I thought it might. So
Actually, you just reminded me when I was walking Archie this morning. One of my neighbors, shh, don't tell anybody, all right? But one of my neighbors has this gorgeous fig tree in their front yard. I mean, it is a spectacular fig tree. And all the leaves on it right now are like spring growth gorgeous. And I snagged two of the leaves. Don't hate me, people. Don't judge me. But hang on, I got to go grab them because I wanted to use them today.
and as you're saying that, I'm totally realizing that I actually have a couple videos of me doing jelly plates with flowers and stalks and things, which is fun. Just lost my black paint. How did I lose my black paint?
I'm so sorry. I think you were talking and I left the room.
That's okay. I just lost my black paint. It was in my hand and now it's gone. So that's problem number one. But I was saying, I actually, as you were saying that, I did realize that I've done actually a couple videos. Oh, it was behind my other paint. I found it. On doing like botanical prints on my jelly plate. And I did that. I took out like hydrangea and daffodils and other things and use leaves and stuff like that.
Okay, well that so any tips for me because I have literally never ever done this on the gel plate before.
My tip is definitely use it sooner than later because once it gets crispy, you're not going to want to use it because it's not going to press well. It won't stay flexible. Um, and
And which side do you press down? Like on this one, I mean, it's beautiful. It has very, distinctive lines, but the backside is spectacular.
well,
Backside,
I think you just answered your own question.
I might have.
Or you can also do both sides. You're right. You can go back and do the other side too. And again, because it's nature, you may be surprised that it might turn out better than you thought, or maybe it'll be interesting in a different way.
Oh, look at what she just did there. That was the most positive negative ever. It may just look different in a unique way.
That's true. That's true. There are no mistakes. It's a beautiful oops, Jackie.
Oh dear. Okay, here we go. So I decided to use the medical exam paper to do this because it's so flexible. I can really get the hoping to get really precise lines on the edging of this leaf because the edge itself is gorgeous. Do you like figs?
I do. I like, I should clarify. I like fig Newtons. I like the taste of figs. The consistency of the actual fig,
Not so much.
I'm not sure I've had it in a way that leaves me craving that consistency. How about that? I want it to be a little bit more crisp somehow.
Oh,
Or
I
like,
wanted it to have a little snap, like a little,
yeah. And it was just kind of like, it was mushier than I expected. Now wait for the ghost prank, Jackie. Don't give up on it yet.
All right. I'm not going to give up on it yet.
I see your note.
I'm just questioning my color choices. That's how.
Oh, well, I can't help you with that.
It's okay. It'll all be fine.
As a side note, have you been keeping track at all how long we've been doing this?
No, but that's a great question. Um,
I have not, I did not look at my watch when we started just to make sure we don't.
think I say we're coming up on 45 minutes, although I don't know that to be true at all. So why don't we plan another 15
Perfect.
from now ish, 15 ish, which would be, well, it doesn't matter, but yeah, let me set a timer on my, we really, actually, you know what? There may be a way for me to figure it out. Oh, Archie, don't do that, please.
And I really like this brush when it comes to like, it's called asemic writing. Is that what it's called?
Yes,
Because it really just does what it does.
love that. Okay, well, we're going to just call it 15 minutes.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I love Semic writing. I think that it was Robin McLaren that introduced me to that whole.
Oh, I don't know who she is. I need to.
I think you would really enjoy her. She's here on YouTube. Um, Everybody who knows of her, go ahead and write in the chat what you love about her and so on. But she does. She's a to call her a gel cruncher is not nearly enough, but she's fine artist. She's wonderful. She's got a great attitude, you know, the whole bit. And she has a book that came out last year. Is it here in the studio with me? Uh, uh, it might be on the bookshelf. I don't see it handy, but it was this gorgeous book that she wrote on gel printing. And in the back of the book, she had stencils.
Oh my gosh, what a fun surprise.
Yes, absolutely. So, she's pretty terrific, but asemic writing. So she does a lot of asemic writing in her work. I think she has courses on it, the whole bit, and it is glorious. And it's to me, what I find so fascinating is how her brain must work to conceive of the marks that she's making and consistently. Like, it's almost like she has her very own alphabet, which I guess is what semic writing actually is anyway, but it's lovely. I highly recommend you watch her videos.
We'll check it out. And speaking of technology, you know,
Anybody else who does it, sorry. I'm just saying, you know, when I think of semic writing, I think of her. So, sorry.
I feel like that's what ends up happening with all of us as we kind of get our own alphabet, right?
Yeah.
Jean Davies talks about like what does she say? She talks about like a visual sentence, I think is how she puts it. But we all kind of have our own marks, and the more we make art, the more we develop. We just find out, right? I make circles like all the time. When I'm not sure what to do, I make circles, just like I'm doing right. And other people, I'm sure, make squares. And other people do cross hatching, and other people do all of the above. And it's so fun that you can look at art at a certain point and be like, oh, I think that's so and so's, right? I can tell because such and such happened. My last video that I posted, someone was like, wait a second, but where are your black and white stripes? Because I love a good black and white stripe, and I didn't have any in that particular thing that I made. I was cracking up. It's like, good call. Did not do it there.
I identify black and white stripes with you.
Yeah.
Or I should say stripes in general, like not just black and white, but like I love your bold contrast that you have in your pieces. Love it.
I love a good stripe. And I am many things in this life, and subtle is not one of them. Like my art tends to be, it's not like the stuff that matches your couch kind of situation.
I I beg to differ. It would depend on whose couch it's behind.
Well, that is true.
I'm just saying.
It's not for um I guess it doesn't blend in. How's that? That's what I'm going for.
Do you all know that Jackie has a show going on right now in Chicago? Jackie S has a show going on right now in Chicago. Oh dear, that's terrible. Sorry, I don't like. You're right. Wait for the ghost of the ghost. Um, yeah, Jackie, tell us about your show.
Yeah, so I had my first solo gallery show um this month, and it is such a learning experience to go through. Um I haven't done my video on that yet either. I need to do that. But it was so validating just to even see all my art in one place, because unless everyone has, giant professional gallery space and studio space, you don't get to see all your art ever up in one place. Um, and that's certainly the case over here. I just stash it in various closets and my basement and all over the place. So having it all up and visible at once was really fun. And it was also really fun to see that even though the work that I feel is very varied amongst the different pieces I've done in the last few years, it really did go well together, and it really did all feel like me. So it was really a cool experience. Now, it was also imposter syndrome to the max, as I was preparing for it, which totally makes sense now that I'm thinking about it. But at the time, I was caught off guard by it because I've done other things artistically where I've had my art places, but never just for me. And that part felt like there's a spotlight on my face. And I was like, okay, but
Um,
best way.
I love that. So, how did it come to be? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people watching right now, and I'm curious because I don't show my work that way ever. Like, how did that happen? Like,
So in this instance, there is a local, uh, it's like a studio and a gallery about 10 minutes south of me. And it's called Air Studio Gallery, like artist in residence, AIR.
well, yeah.
And yeah, and it's a member gallery. So you can become a member and they have different classes that they offer. It's a small gallery, and it is really designed and built, it's a nonprofit, to help artists to get recognized, to get known, to right. So whatever your goals are, they're kind of there to help you get your goals met. If you want to sell art, if you want to, they'll promote different things. And I've been a member for a few years now. I don't get there all the time because my kids are,
Right.
really cramping my social style here. But um yeah, the manager of the gallery was like, "Hey, do you want to have a solo show?" And I was like, "Okay." Thinking it would be just like any other art fair that I've done in the past. And in some ways it was, and in some ways it felt much bigger than that. But so much fun. At an art fair, you haven't done any art fairs, have you, Jackie?
I have not.
So I'm talking about like the outside uh summer afternoon, right? There's tents set up in the summer, and there's maybe 50 artists or 100 artists in like a park or something like that. And doing those, it still kind of feels like work the whole weekend because you're setting up the night before, you then work, i.e., sweat in Chicago, it's super hot, super humid all summer. And you're making small talk with people who may or may not be interested at all in your type of art because they could just be cruising or on their way to walk their dog or whatever. And artists, are not known for their ability for great small talk necessarily, right? Most of the artists that I'm friends with are somewhat introverted on some level, and we like to be in our own space, and we like people, but we're not, we're not out to chat people up all the time, especially people who we don't know, especially people who aren't coming to see our art. So it was very, very different, and it felt like work. But this show, once people started coming to the opening, which was a couple weeks ago, I was like, "Oh, this is not work anymore. This is a party. People are coming to like celebrate the work that I've already done. I don't have to work anymore. Like this is amazing." So that part was really a fun discovery.
So, how did you select the pieces that you would do, or did you make pieces specific for the show?
I did not. So when I agreed to this in like October, maybe before then, I was like, I'm going to make a whole new collection. It's going to be amazing. And I made one new piece and I had all the other ones, which was definitely the way to go for me because there were so many, well, life happens, right? There were these other online art summits that I had agreed to and many other obligations in family life. So I looked through all my art and I use something called Artwork Archive to keep track of all my art. It is very helpful in terms of you can upload pictures of your art, you can write the names, the prices, if it's sold, who it's sold to. It's like this really cool system. And that helped me figure out what I even had.
Okay.
And then I could go through and choose the work that I thought went well together and things that I really like and things that I uh, thought would work well together, and it ended up being a showcase of the art that I've made since COVID.
Okay.
And I called the show an exercise in letting go.
Oh,
And it was just about, right, the process of becoming, really. I'm gonna stop there. Process of becoming and what that looks like and how, right, to a mess is also beautiful. And like things are not, again, like, right, it's the whole thing. It's like the not needing perfection for something to be good. And that goes for art, that goes for ourselves, um, and just really an authenticity view of, I guess, what's beautiful and what's important to me.
I love that. We'll put the link to that. I've never seen that, and so I would love to investigate that. So we'll put the link to that service. The what did you call it again? I'm sorry.
Artwork archive.
Yeah, Artwork Archive. We'll put a link to it in the description so you can all check it out, and so I can check it out. Um, oh, all right. Well, we don't know if that's been an hour or not, but it sort of feels like, and so we should probably finish up the prints.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The work that we're doing now. Oh, look at you with all your mark makings. I'm gonna have to do my marks making tomorrow while I am creating.
Yes, I know. I can't wait for everything to drop.
I smell like crazy balls. Um, all right. So here's how this is going to work, everybody. This is just part one of the mixed media art party with Jackie and Jackie. And what we're going to do is we're going to finish up here. We're going to show you the papers that we made today. We didn't talk about this in advance, but we should do that, shouldn't we? Yeah. Yeah. So give us a second. We're still going to chitter chatter. We're going to sort of clean up our space a little so that you can actually see clearly the papers we created. Love them or hate them. Again, we started all of this saying Oh, I can't wait to see what that turns into. We started all this saying we weren't trying to really accomplish finished art today by any stretch. We were just going to go and play and paint a whole bunch of papers, and I think we both did that. And now we will just have sort of a show and tell. I like that. Gonna clean up this space a little. So I'm very fortunate in that I have this massive workspace to work on. I mean, way beyond what you can see on camera. And the curse is of that is like everything else. And I forget whose principle it was of physics, but whatever you have proportionally will expand to fit the space. So I have this gigantic work table that I'm so happy with and so grateful that I have it. And the little tiny bit that you can see me working on is maybe 1/3 of the size of the table, and the entire rest of the table is filled with supplies and materials. And that's why you always hear me say, "Where did I put the blah blah blah?" Like the workspace is when it serve, right? Yeah. The jewel plate. Okay. All right. Okay. How you doing, Junkie?
Around, we're gonna talk this guy
Okay.
over stuck to it.
While you're doing that, I'll start filling. But everyone, there will be no rhyme or reason to the order in which I show these. This is just the stat. Look at this. So for anyone who's new to painting papers or wonder why you would paint papers, first off, we've just been on for an hour, and I don't know how many teachers I've up here, but look at this gorgeous stack of papers. And because I used all the same colors, they should all work together for whatever I'm going to create tomorrow. I mean, that's going to be super exciting. But I will do my best to put the supplies in the description. You all know that I normally always do that. But the truth is I was so enjoying Jackie's conversation today, and I just kept working as we were talking that I didn't really pay attention to everything I was using or doing. So I'll do my best attempt. But if I'm missing something, please just gently tell me in the comments, and I'll find it. And Jackie, do you think you'd be able to make a list?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll do that. We'll put all of that down in the description we'll try to. And please give us some time to get that done. It may not be done while you're watching this today or even within the next week. The list making for supplies is an intense experience. So, all right. So I'm just going to just go through these to the side. And actually, are you ready, Jackie? Because if you're ready, I'd love to see your work first.
Oh, okay. So I have a lot of black papers that was with mark bacon. They're not dry yet, but I'll show you the colors. So these are the gel prints that I made. Most of it's on tissue, just a little off slice. Oh, I almost forgot these papers that you like, Jackie. Here's my love you the 60s and 70s. This reminds me of my house that I grew up in, my mother's grandmother's house.
Oh,
And everything was like the gold of the 60s. And we had like the gold phone, like the rotary phone, and the gold avocado phone.
okay. Hang on a second, avocado lady. Can you put that hot red, pink, whatever back down? Yep. And then can you put the one before on top of it? Do you see how sexy that is? So if you get the paper all soaking wet, that tissue paper, and then use the gloss medium and put those two pieces together, that would be good. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just saying I see what you did there. Okay, so
Oh, and this is the one I'm looking for actually. So this is the second print. This is the first print.
love it.
That's what I did with the Q-tips. All right. Washing those.
Mm.
Is that green gold?
Oh, love that.
Yeah, this is just yarn. This I made actually before we started.
Great. It's such a great mark.
Fun, right?
Yes.
And when my collages, I really like connecting things. So I like to have just random meandering lines. So this is one print. This was the first print. Let's see how much darker it is. And then this is the ghost print.
Okay, hang on. Question, because I didn't see you. I didn't see the setup for that. What made the circles? Did you make the circles?
Rubber bands.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
I mean, all of it is beautiful, but that ghost print is taking my breath away.
All right. This is my little stencil. Great ones. And then I've got, let's see if I'll pick out a couple of these. They're dry.
Isn't she incredible?
Okay. So I just did some stripes, obviously. Some paper, lots of orbs. I did some tissue ones as well. And painting on the tissue, as you can see, it just goes right through.
Yep.
You kind of piling up other things so that you don't get all the old paint marks on your new tissue, but it works out.
Beautiful.
When you see what you made.
All right. Again, this is in no order at all. So a lot of this was actually it started off as just roll off. It's really hard to see. I will try to zoom in a little bit more so it's closer like Jackie's is. But was roll up paper, and then I had some residual on a gel plate, and I pulled it, and I absolutely love what came up. These are the things that you use in collage that you just can't account for. Like you can say, "Oh, I want this shape," or "I want blah blah blah," and then you have pieces like this that fill in like part of the story that actually makes the story of the collage. Love that. This was just fun. I'm still trying to figure out what I personally would do with this particular stencil. Actually, it's a mask, not a stencil, but you know, I keep thinking that I'm like this great graphic artist. I'm not at all. But like in my head, I want to be this great graphic artist, but I don't want to do what I need to do to become a great graphic artist. So I keep flirting with it. Again, some of this really like distressed paper. I'm just noticing now, I use really light colors, and so a lot of this is going to be hard to see. Really,
Oh, I really like that tissue paper one that you,
this one here or this one?
well, that first one, yeah.
Yeah, this is the Western tissue paper, and this was just clearing off the gel plate, and it's so subtle. And actually, looking at it from this perspective, in my head, it's like an abstracted cornfield, or like where I grew up as a child, there were cornfields everywhere. And it just has that kind of feeling on a bright day. I don't know. And then this, uh, I used a stencil on top of the wet strength tissue paper as opposed to underneath, and to see if that would do anything. And it did pick up a super subtle pattern that I love. But I love more of the gritty. Like, instead of like this one here, I pulled actual shakes and all that.
Yeah.
But I love having stashes of the gritty because those always make their way into the collage. Whereas this, I mean, actually, I'm excited. I think I mean, I don't know, I'm gonna use this tomorrow, but I feel like I'm going to use some of these shapes tomorrow. Excited about that. And then this more roll off, roll off. This was really interesting. There's metallic in here. It's metallic never picks up well on camera, but
Yeah, that's really gorgeous.
isn't that neat? And this like sort of crackling type texture that's here could only happen by using the medical exam paper in as one of the layers in this, because it crinkled a little, it made these perfect things so that when I fold it on copy paper, that's what happened. Love that. And this was just fun. I don't know if this is like a sky or something, maybe. I don't know. It'll be fun using it for something. This was an unmitigated sale. Like, I am sure I can use some of this stuff over here and collage, it'll be fine, but I don't love that. I don't even love the shape of that, which is so weird. But I do love fig leaf shape. But again, it's more of this textury thing. This was the print of the ghost print And I kind of like this a little bit more, but not as what it was in terms of the fig leaf. I just kind of like the undulation between the rusty colors and the lighter colors and so on.
Oh, I like that.
I had a heart attack over when I pulled it. Forget this part. I mean, you don't have to forget this part, but like what happened here? I know you're squinting now, Jackie, but I promise you, I will have it zoomed in so you can see.
I'm just loving it. That's awesome.
It's just so cool. And to be honest, this particular color, this mauve color that's in here, that's actually adding the contrast, I don't even remember making that today. So I couldn't tell you exactly how I made that. Maybe, I mean, you all can tell me how I made it if you watch the replay. Just know I don't know how I made it. I'm okay with that. This here is yeah, this is still wet strength tissue paper, but just these little itty bitty bits. So there's a lot that I could do with this cream colored. And that's one thing that I want to say that I don't say very often because I'm so excited about painting papers that have things on them. We all need to have painted papers that are just neutrals or almost, almost straight color because your eyes need some place to rest every once in a while. And so there's nothing wrong when you create papers like these in a day because they will get used, right? This was just fun. It looks like shadow shapes from that one from earlier. I love this color combination.
Love that.
They're just kind of sprinkled throughout like that. This came from using the alcohol on the gel plate. I love this so much. And this is really fun. This is not on any of the tissues. This is a piece of copy paper, so it won't be I can't use it as a transparent top layer, but there's so much that I can do using this in collage. I just can't wait. And these an ode to Jackie S, with the red. Love it. Love it. And that fun, fun, fun. This piece here, I kind of wish I did an entire plate of this because this will be used in pretty much every collage I make ever. So I'm going to have to make more of it if I can. And then finally, this was the first poll using those masks. And I don't think much about the shapes themselves, although I could go in and do some line work or something interesting. But the background, I am bananas about the variation in color. Love that. That was super fun. That was so much fun.
Nice. Well, I guess that's it for today.
That's it for today. So thank you all so much for being here and in and joining us in this. I hope you found it as enjoyable as I did. I mean, I love just chatting and working with you this whole time, and I learned so much about you. I love that. So
Fun. So much fun. So will join us tomorrow on my channel. So Jeffy Schaumburg Art on YouTube. And we will make something now with some of these papers that we've created.
and more chatter, no doubt.
And more chatter.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Bye.